Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan. For today, we have on the show the incredible, amazing, badass Emily. Emily, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you going?
Fantastic. And what better way to start? Just starting up the week that to be chatting with someone as badass as you. You know what I mean?
Thank
There
you.
you go. I love it. Now, before we start with the interview, I do want to thank those who are watching this. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment or two. Let me know what you think. And without further more, let's jump in for the interview. Now, Emily, for those who don't know, who are you basically? Besides being an incredible badass superstar, can you please tell us who you are?
Thanks. Well, my name is Emily Margheriti. I am an actor and producer, and my most recent film that I've done is Sissy. I went to performing arts school at Whopper, which is where Hugh Jackman studied in Australia, in Perth. And I did 3 years there. And then I moved to LA I started my own production company before I moved here. And I toggled between Australia and LA. I bring movies back to Australia and I usually film them there. And that's what I did with Sissy as well. So
Incredible. I love it. Now, let's go back in time and tell me where did you journey begin? What made you, want to start into the whole acting business?
I guess for me personally, acting has always been one of those things that it's just kind of, I can't shake it off. It's always there. I've tried to do other things, but I can't. I always go back to it. I gravitate towards it. I think as a kid, I just wanted to be put into acting class. That was one of the many things that I wanted to do as a kid. I've just been always going back to it. I was a dancer for a little bit of my life, and then I moved back into acting. Yeah, there's something about it. I think it's just in my blood as well, because my family has done it, my British side, like go back to like Monty Python times. Yeah, so I think it's just in my blood.
There you go. I love it. Now, focusing a little bit on your acting career, tell me how you prepare a character. Now, of course, that I understand that depends on the role, but what is your usual approach once you start before diving into this whole process?
My approach is very different for different roles. So specifically, do you mean Sissy or just every role in general?
Yeah, like every role in general, let's say.
So if I'm talking in general, there's usually, I read the script obviously a million times, heaps of times, just because I start with the facts first, obviously, right? And in doing that, I always go through, what does everybody say about me? Write a big list. What do I say about everybody? What does the author say about me if it's like a play? But yeah, I just like to write lists. I list everything down, get all the facts written down. But it depends. Sometimes I work outside in, sometimes I work inside out. It just depends how connected I am to that character and if that's something that's close to me or if it's far from me. So if it was a serial killer, I probably wouldn't be able to feel that internally, externally. I have to work backwards.
Yeah, okay. And talking a little bit about your film here, the one that you mentioned before, how you prepared that character, let's say.
Yeah, so with no spoilers. So with Alex from Sissy, she was, I would say, more of a villain. So I worked outside in with her, but obviously with every character, there's always things that you can relate to and you can work on and build upon. What was your question? Sorry.
Yeah, how you prepare that character.
How did I prepare her? So specifically Alex, I read the script a million times. I had to explore like what it meant to be Alex. And for Alex, she lives in this realm of, she finds her friends are her family. So finding that, and I would, research other roles that I could relate to and also pull from them. So there were a few roles that I pulled from, like Rose Byrne's from Bridesmaids, Rachel McAdams in, oh my gosh, now I'm forgetting, in Mean Girls. So I was pulling from all these different things. But I also looked at some of my friends who are very much like her, which is they find their friends, their friends are their family. And that was really helpful to me to understand that perspective and to get into her character.
There you go. And where can we watch it?
Where can you watch it? You can watch it on DVD in Australia. I know that.
Okay.
It's on Shudder in the US. Shudder in the US, which is a horror streaming platform. So it is a satirical horror. It's a little bit gory, but it's not too scary. So don't expect too scary and don't expect too funny. It's a little bit in
Okay.
between.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Now you mentioned that you're from Australia, but tell me how was the whole like how was the whole process for moving to another country? Even though that I mean, yeah, it's the same language, the culture is different. So how were like what were some of the challenges that you had when you decided to like when you were recently moved to LA?
When I moved to LA, obviously as an actor, the accent's a big one, especially if you're doing auditions and stuff here as well. So all of it's in general American. Most TV is in American, general American. So that was a big thing that I needed to keep working on and make it. Listening to everybody was quite good and hearing the isms, I guess, that
Yeah.
Americans have. So I liked moving to America. I felt like immersing myself in it has been really great.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not too different. I mean, Australians are very different. We are different. We're different. But I feel like for me, I'm not focused on that anyway, because when I'm here, I'm just focused on the industry and working and finding good scripts and then bringing them back. So really, I've just found people that love movies in Australia and love movies in America. And to me, it doesn't
There you go. So you're already an international superstar. I love it.
matter. You're too kind.
Absolutely. I love that. That is super cool. Okay. Now, let's say that, one day I call you, right? And I tell you that I want to become an actor. Now, here's the thing. I don't know anything about acting. So based on what you know, what do you think would be kind of a good place for me to start?
A good place for you to start? Very good question. Honestly, when I first started acting, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, obviously, as a kid, going to acting class, lots of
Yeah.
fun, lots of energy, lots of improv games, doing space jump where you jump into the circle and you improv a scene. And I get do class, like just go in and start taking classes. That's where you learn the craft. And I think that's super important, to be an actor or is to understand and work on the craft and fall in love with the process, because that's the biggest thing. You're going to
Mm.
be in the process of auditioning all the time. Falling in love with that and just keep working and training is honestly the best way. Rather
Okay.
than thinking about it, don't think about it. Just do it.
There you go. Yeah. And you know what? I do think that that is basically the rule of life itself, meaning that you are never going to be ready for anything. Sometimes you just need to, yeah, you can take some classes here and there to kind of know where you're going to jump, but you need to jump either way, because
Yeah.
I do think I have like discovered that if you take time for you to prepare in order for you to get ready, that time is
Mm.
never going to happen. So,
It kills the creativity as well in some ways. I was reading a book on it, but yeah, if you keep thinking about something, about doing something because you care about it, you kill the creativity, you kill the passion, the drive, and then you won't do it. It's almost like you psych yourself out of it because you care about it so much. So usually, if you're thinking about should I do it, should I not do it, you obviously care about it. Just do it.
mm,
You only overthink things that much when you care.
true. Yeah, that's true. And what do you think that could be some of the challenges that I would be facing on once I start my acting career?
Some of the things that you would face would definitely be failure. Like you're gonna fail. You will act badly. You will make a fool of yourself. You're gonna
Yeah.
embarrass yourself, and you will never want to go back to class. Like there's gonna be moments like that, moments that will shock you. You might feel things that you haven't felt because you are being vulnerable, and that's the job of an actor to pull those emotions out of people when they're watching TV. So you need to
Yeah.
feel them yourself. You need to go to places that you probably close off to in everyday life. And that's what an actor's job is, essentially, to bring that out. And it's icky and painful. It's not all fun. You learn a lot about yourself. So be prepared to learn a lot about who you are as
Mm.
a person and how you are as a person. Because for you to understand a character, you need to understand yourself. So
Okay.
be prepared for a very long journey of failure, but thinking of it in a good way because it's moving forward, falling forward. Failure is essential. So
Okay. And how you handle the whole, yeah, like the whole failure side, right? So you will be auditioning after an audition after audition, and once you realize you get have like what, like 50, 60 auditions, time passed, no call. So how you manage that? I mean, because I mean, let's be honest, nobody likes being rejected, right? So how you manage
Mm.
that yeah, like that failure side in which you are working hard but you still haven't booked anything, and at the same time you need to keep a healthy mind for you to keep performing well.
Mhm. I think having healthy thought patterns and
Mm,
knowing, you can't have this bitter mentality of I deserve something. I've done this many auditions. That's what I was saying before. It's important to fall in love with the
yeah.
process of it. And if you're not falling in love with the process of it, that's where the challenge is. And I think as well, learning another craft like editing or filmmaking, like producing or directing is also a good thing too, because you can facilitate work for yourself. And I think it's important for actors as well as training and doing all of that and auditioning for roles. Um, you should be trying to create your own work as well, because to hand over your career in the palms of someone else, it's a
Yeah.
really scary thought. So take ownership and create stuff yourself.
There you go. And what has been your worst audition ever?
My worst audition ever. It's so funny when I think about this. Okay, so my worst audition ever. I auditioned for like the top three Australian performing arts schools, NIDA, VCA, WAPA. Uh, it's funny because looking back at my VCA audition that I did, I realized I don't even know how I did this. I didn't really know how to edit back then.
Yeah.
I had music, like piano music playing the entire over the audio, the entire audio of all my monologues and everything. I mean, it makes sense why I didn't get in. You couldn't even hear me. So, but just watching back and being like, how did I do that? Number one, and how did I miss that and submit it? So my biggest lesson from that was don't rush, check over it, just look back and
Yeah.
just don't get nervous and send it. Make sure you actually, just watch it again.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it can happen a lot, right? When you are either stressed or excited about something that you just don't check anything. You're like, yeah, I'm just gonna send it, poof, and that's it. And then once
I'm
you
always
realize, yeah,
hmm I'm always guns a blazing. I'm just like, yeah, done. And then later I'm like, oh, I spelled that wrong, or oh, I need to fix that. So just double check it.
yeah, same thing happened to me when I recently started, since I'm making kind of a, yeah, like kind of a little bit of short videos with the previous
hmm
interviews that I have back when I was recently started, which was like a year ago.
hmm
I have rewatched some of them, and I'm like, why did I say this, or why didn't I just double check this and put this instead of that, or remove this part, like things like that. So yeah, I can understand that.
it happens. It happens, and when you care about it as well, you sometimes sabotage yourself and you don't do what you normally would do.
Yeah, which at the same time, I think when you are criticizing too much, once you realize nobody cares, you know.
Nobody
So
cares as much as you, and you just need to like let it go.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Now let's say that for your birthday you get a time machine. Now here's the catch: you can only travel once and to meet the 13-year-old version of yourself. So what would you say to that little you?
What would I say to that little me? Just don't worry about what people think of you. Like, fuck it off, I would say. Like, don't, who cares what people think? Just do what you want to do. Because I think when you're younger as well, all you seem to care more about what I cared, more about what people thought about me.
Yeah,
And I wish I cared less sooner. And I don't know if that would help the 13-year-old me, but I hope that it would.
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. Now let's say that one day, Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, you name it, they call you and they tell you to have this idea, which goes that they're gonna make a film that all of the characters you have played at the moment, they're all gonna gather to celebrate your birthday. Now, here's the thing: the film needs a name. So, how would you call it?
Is this a film that exists or a new film name that I'm creating?
New one.
A new one. Maybe like Unlikely Friends or something like that.
Unlikely friends.
Unlikely Friends.
All right. So, unlikely friends, PG-13. There you
It'll
go.
be fun.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what about if you could describe your whole career, but this time on a drink? How would you call it, and what would it have?
As in the ingredients.
Yeah, yeah. You
Can
can
it
have,
be
yeah, whatever you want is your drink.
can it be a drink that's already made? So
Yep.
I think I would say tequila sunrise. And I'd say that because why would I say that? Um, because a little bit fruity and fun, but I'm playing a lot of villains, so just like tequila, you gotta watch out for it to kill you.
There you go. Yeah, one. Yeah, okay. One is good. Two is already a warning, and three, you're done. So
Hmm.
there you go. And would you leave it as tequila sunrise, or you would add something like a different name that would have like more meaning to you?
Tequila sunrise with a twist, maybe.
Okay,
Lemon twist.
fair
I
enough.
don't
Yeah,
know.
okay. I'll take it.
Hopefully
Now,
it's yum. I hope it's delicious.
and I bet it is. Well, I mean, we have to try. You know what I mean? We never know. Yeah. Now, during your whole acting career here, tell me, is there any character that you would refuse to play? Maybe because the message it's not something that you follow, or something about it that you just like, no. So my question would be, is there any character or role that you would ever refuse?
I think like with any audition that I get, if there's script, if I get given the script, and it's hard as well because I read a lot of scripts all the time with my company
Yeah.
as well. But sometimes if the female perspective isn't, I don't know if it's not in the right point of view, or if it just feels a little bit. I don't even know how to explain it, but if it feels like it doesn't sit well with me, then I probably wouldn't go for it. Um, yeah, that's like the main thing. If the story, I don't necessarily love the story, I usually turn them down. Sometimes there's scripts out there that are being made that I don't necessarily love to death, and it's not the genre that I would personally love to play. Like I love playing comedies, I love playing dark comedies, like a sitcom or something fun, a little bit more elevated and fun. Yeah, there's definitely roles that I would probably steer clear from that wouldn't resonate with me as a person,
Mm, 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 mm. All right. And when you are playing this character, have you ever brought your characters home, and has that affected you in a negative way?
Yeah, I mean, I always like to think of acting like with a pilot, with someone that's flying a plane. They don't go home and they pretend to fly a plane.
Mm,
But I know that a lot of actors that do method acting, which is understandable. I do to some degree, but I try not to bring my character home, only because my granddad, his father was an actor, British actor, and he used to come home and be King Lear,
okay.
which wasn't very pleasant for him.
Yeah.
So I try not to bring stuff home, but it is true that sometimes it's hard to shake off an actor. So if not an actor, a character. So with Alex, with playing Alex and Sissy, I did feel a little bit tormented by playing that character because of the way that she is and all the hurt that she has. So it was definitely challenging, I would say.
Yeah. There you go. Now, like, what motivates you? We all have those days that basically we just want to quit, right? I mean, it's inevitable. So how you manage to, yeah, like to silence those toxic thoughts and to be back again on this road that you have built in for so many years now?
Mm-hmm. Sorry about my phone. I would say, for me personally, doing exercise, as basic as that is, doing exercise, not just for physical health, but for me, mainly mental health. It helps me, clears my mind, allows me to focus on what's important, what really matters. Yeah, and then just focusing on my classes, my acting, and just kind of like scheduling things correctly. It helps with time management and all of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And what can we expect from you in the future?
Hopefully being more villains. Yeah, more shows, making some more satirical comedies,
No.
working on a few projects at the moment with my company. So you'll expect to see some sci-fi, some dark comedies, some plays that I might do in LA as well. So you'll be seeing me.
There you go. I love that. And my last question here is, if we could have this episode to be on a film, how should we call it?
This episode, as in this,
Mm-hmm.
Girl Interrupted, because my phone went off.
Girl Interrupted?
Yeah, this will
Okay.
movie, yeah.
I mean, because that's gonna be the title of this video. So
Oh, beautiful. Well, wonderful.
there you go. All right. I mean, at the end, it is, yeah. At the end, what can I say? I mean, it's incredible what you do, but also the fact that you have come along this way, moved to another country, make it happen, and little by little, you're making the whole gear spin, and that is incredible. And I'm super sure that for our next conversation later on, it's going to be about the multiple thousands projects you have been in, because you're so talented, but at the same time, you love it. And as simple as it may sound, we all know it's a pain in the butt, but you make it happen. So
It's true.
absolutely. I also want to thank those who watch this. Thank you so much. As I said before, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow, leave me a comment or two. But also, since this episode is about to be over, on the description below you're gonna find all social media for Emily. So let's make her viral. # Team Emily, because she's incredible. And again, Emily, thank you so much. Have an incredible rest of the week. Keep killing it. Keep being this amazing, incredible, badass woman you always are. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
All right.